This is Brownie's Podcast!
Welcome to Brownie's Podcast. It's back, gang. It is back.
I feel like the night before Christmas. Just so excited, ready to unwrap the presents of a new season, 2023. How are you, Brown Dog? He's back in the studio, the big dog.
I'm very excited. One, to be back here with you guys. And secondly, the dawn of the AFL season is upon us. And I think it's going to be one of the most even footy seasons we've seen in a while.
What's the most excitable you get throughout a season? You know, you still got a soft spot for the mighty Gold Coast Suns when they get up by a point over GWS.
I think they can play finals for the first time this season. I think they'll make history.
It's ludicrous.
I get excited when there's a melee.
Oh, dear, yes.
The big hits, they excite me, but let's be honest, the game's pretty vanilla these days.
What about when an umpire hits the deck?
Nah, unless they stay down and I'll always sit there and go, come on, get up.
I prefer my umpires to give me a little phone call on the side and just let me know how many votes they gave this particular person for the Brownlow. Bro, that's a low blow early. What are you doing wearing a Port Adelaide jersey? Because your boys play my boys this Saturday.
The prison bars.
Oh, well, I thought, and this will make Eddie turn in his grave.
Well, hang on, he's not dead yet.
He's not dead.
Mate. You are right. He's not technically dead. He doesn't look great. But I'd say he's probably got one foot in there to begin with. But he fought the prison bars for 25 years. Yeah. And now look, I've got it on. Jeff Brown's coming and going, don't worry about it. You can wear it all you like. So, showdown, I think it's round 3.
Yeah.
What's an older club, Port Adelaide or Collingwood?
I think it's actually Port Adelaide. We're like 1888 or something.
And then he's gone, it's too Collingwoody. You can't use the bus.
The black and white stripes, that's synonymous with Collingwood, but back in the day, it was all Port Adelaide.
Hey, who gives a shit? What has Ed Sheeran done to our MCG?
It was the greatest concert I've been to, and I haven't seen someone dominate the MCG
since
in front of 100,000 people like that since me in 08. It was magnificent. Mate, every single tune was a banger. Yeah, the grass is a little bit cooked now,
it's
but
cooked.
Doesn't matter, mate.
So if someone does their knee on the weekend...
Won't be because of that.
Really?
Nah.
Won't be because of that?
Nah.
Lawsuits coming. We've got enough lawsuits in our game, which we'll get to later on.
Kingy reckons a knee is going to go. The great man.
Really?
David King.
What numbers did he roll out for that to justify that?
I got drunk with Kingy yesterday.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Really?
I stole his Pataki ham before Christmas. Did you mention that? Yeah.
Oh, that's kind. He had some words to say about you. This is at the Fox Footy launch. By the way, KO and Fox Footy, JB, doing the games in 4K.
4K, absolutely. You do an unbelievable job. But so if you haven't got KO, you've obviously been living under a rock.
Also, if your TV doesn't do 4K, like receive it, you need to get a flasher TV.
I don't even have HD yet, and I don't have KO.
I'm actually surprised now how well on the smart TV. It's amazing how clear it is when it's streamed on.
Oh, boy.
3 years ago, you would have thought, no one knowing this is going to work when it's really the internet streaming the games.
Yeah.
It's clear as day.
Nice.
Before we move on, you said that you stole Kingy's Pataki ham.
Yeah.
Is Hutchie not paying his stuff again? Is he paying them with Pataki hams rather than actual
we get
cash?
it for Christmas.
Is that right? Just a little Christmas bonus, is it?
I know Kingy was away for Christmas. I didn't want it to go off and stink out the whole of the studio, so I took it home, cooked it up for Christmas.
Anyway, I had like a drinking session for like 5 hours with Kingy yesterday, and he told me about a Cox Plate Day with you, Dog.
Cox Plate Day. The man was outstanding. A tipping machine.
What?
Yeah, I reckon he tipped 10 horses to us.
What?
And then he got a little bit loose.
Yeah.
Found himself wearing the Miss Universe sash at one stage in the afternoon.
Where was Miss Universe?
She stood there without the sash for the best part of 20 minutes while Brownie was contemplating whether to go and sing Horses with Daryl Braithwaite up the front.
That's classic knock.
This is true, and can I say, unaware, right? I didn't know that the Miss Universe Australia sash is sacrosanct, right? It is. And
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Queen's tiara.
Correct. So she gave it to me just in
Queen's tiara.
in good faith, right? In good faith. And I took it and I was wearing it and getting some photos. I didn't realise that when the PR company came that were looking after her, gave her one of the great dressing downs you'll ever see from a beauty pageant presenter, demanded that they get it back and said to her, this never leaves you again. This is your property.
Really?
You can't be handing it around like that.
You disrespected the Miss Universe
What
sash.
did you...
Did that person having a crack at Miss Universe, she clearly hasn't seen your Men for All Seasons
Exactly
calendar.
right, mate. If anyone deserved to wear that sash, mate,
absolutely.
it was me.
Hey, congratulations, you sons of bitches!
100 shows.
Ah.
We did it,
I was
boys.
wondering why I was having a calm draft.
It is our 100th anniversary.
Yes. 100
Cheers,
good
guys.
ones.
How many of these ones have you done actually in the studio, Brown Dog? How many of the 100?
Yeah, I've missed a few over the journey, but that's all part of the process, you know.
You've given JB a Carlton draft. What do you got?
I've
Obvious
got
reasons.
a pineapple, yellow vodka cruiser, magnificent.
Because he loves him.
You got a Peroni.
I've got a Peroni because I'm pretty sophisticated, and I've given you a herbal tea.
Why do I have a herbal tea?
Obvious reasons, I would have thought.
What?
Herb.
Oh, yeah.
Still remember this cruise, the vodka cruiser, reminds me of the day when me and Brown Dog went on a road trip to Albury, and we were just getting ready for an event that evening, and we went down to watch a couple of races of the Albury RSL.
Tipped another winner, I did.
Dogs tipped a winner to all the old diggers. The old veterans there just having a quiet pint or two.
Now, least I
And
can do considering they fought for our country.
Absolutely. And they were so excited. This horse gets up, wins by a nose at Morfordville. And this old fella come along, I think his name was Herb as well. He offered us a drink, said, boys, the least I can do is buy you a drink for tipping us that winner. What would you like? I said, I have a Carlton draft, Herb. And then he goes to Brown Dog. What would you like? He goes, can I have a Bacardi Breezer? And mate, I could not believe you were forcing old Herb to go to the bar, the Albury RSL, to get a Bacardi Breezer. So Herb heads off to the bar, has the Carlton draft on show for the boys, bringing that back, and under his suit jacket, he's got the Bacardi Breezer hidden away.
He did.
Mate, this bloke's, he's out his reputation. Never tarnished for 40 years, and you're about to bring him down in front of his mates.
He had the medals on his lapel, and he would have been going up to
shit.
the bar thinking, I didn't fucking go sign up, put my life on the line, so people could come back here and drink Bacardi.
I didn't duck bullets for this shit.
Mate, I tell you what, mate, I was ducking bullets. I was hiding under the table through embarrassment. You got to be better, dog.
Tigers Blues. Jesus.
Very, very big game to kick things off. It always is, but you'd think that Richmond would be winning that game. Well, there's a couple of injuries. Sam Walsh obviously out for Carlton. Williams is going to be done for the year with his knee. I think Richmond make a surge back up the ladder and they can put themselves in contention with Melbourne to maybe win another flag.
I think they go the other way.
Oh, really?
I got Tigers out.
Out of the 8?
Carlton into the 8. That's my change of the 8 from last year. I think the Bulldogs will climb, but in terms of change to the 8, I've got 1. I think Richmond will go the other way. I'm just a bit concerned about their veterans. They've got some guys that injury issues. Cochin and Rewald certainly really getting towards the end. We saw what happened to Shane Edwards last year, who looked like he was going to have a long career and was tipped over. Sorry, not tipped over, was gone within half a season.
Dylan Grimes looks vulnerable now. He gets beaten now for the first time in his career. He gets beaten by a better opposition.
As well.
Yep.
Robbie Tarrant's had injuries. Tommy Lynch is not getting younger, even though he's best and fairest winner last year. All I'm saying is we still look at Richmond, it's still the same names. But for Richmond to succeed, they have to be still playing at the level they were playing in their prime. And I don't think they're capable of doing that anymore. It's unfair to those veterans. So a hell of a lot of pressure falls onto Hopper and Taranto. To me, if I'm looking, I'm thinking, if the Tigers are going to win this year, Hopper and Taranto have to be 1, 2 and the best and fairest. So, I'm not sure. I've seen it firsthand. 2005, the Brisbane Lions, we still had these legends, stars of the game, and within half a season, they were gone. 5 or 6 of them tipped over and the Lions became an ordinary unit.
I hate to keep banging on about the turf, but the next night, Pies Cats, that turf's going to be hammered.
I don't think the turf matters. It was one of the great global events. It's iconic with the MCG, that Ed Sheeran show, in the round, as we call it.
Who wins Pies Cats?
I think that...
Why should a redhead with freckles have precedence over our Coliseum?
Well,
a great game. You're like, I know he's got a bar at home and he's probably got 8 beers on tap, but...
Well, we're going to have a redhead with freckles who's going to dominate the MCG Friday night, and that's going to be Gary Rowan. I think that
yes, he did
I
last
think that
time
the
against
Cats,
these two.
even though Tom Hawkins isn't playing, they've got a great spread of goal kickers. And
no, Tom Hawkins will play.
Oh, you reckon?
Yep, I think Tom Hawkins will play. Yep.
I don't think he'll play for the first month.
No, punters, he'll play.
Oh, that is as definitive as I have heard JB in a long time.
Do you have mail or you just
he's
talking
got
about
mail. Look at him.
I've heard that Tomahawk's back's and he won't play for the first month.
He's coming back from a foot injury.
Also, he's back.
Sweet God.
Oh, shit.
So-
Anyway, but that's good because that game was one of the games of the season last year, and that first final, wasn't it? Collingwood
Huge.
My
versus
God.
Geelong was sensational. I had doubts on Collingwood last year coming into the finals, but after their final series, you think, oh, no, they're the real deal. So they can be thereabouts. But how good? 95,000 Thursday night, hopefully 95,000 Friday night. To really get Melbourne back on track post-COVID. You know, I think the city's got to get going. It's going to be warm weather. Can't wait to get out and about.
Dino, you're going to North Melbourne and the Eagles.
Oh,
So you're excited.
I am.
Is it the battle for the wooden spoon?
Well, that is a blockbuster.
Can I ask a question here? And
Yeah.
please tell me if I'm a million miles off the mark.
Please.
How in the hell have the bookies come up with North Melbourne being $1.83 favourites over the West Coast Eagles at $2? That to me completely defies logic.
It's a good question. How do they come up with that figure, John?
The Clarko.
Yes, the Clarko at home. West Coast still a hangover from last year. West Coast got injuries. No Nat Nui. They've got injuries elsewhere. I don't think the bookies have lost trust with West Coast. So what has happened to that club? You
So
know,
you
you look
reckon-
at 2018
Yeah.
when they won with a reasonably aged squad in 2018. It's been a fall from grace for the West Coast Eagles. So they've got a lift. They're the most powerful financial sporting club in the land.
Yeah.
And they have been, mate, to the point where I'd be thinking about barracking for another team, Dana.
It's round one, you dickheads. No one knows what's going to
West
happen.
Coast will win. They are my absolute
They've got a bit
lock.
of talent. That's right. That's right. They've got a fair bit of
real?
talent.
I can't believe they're $2. I just cannot believe it. They will win.
Are you saying load up on West Coast?
At that price, absolutely.
You're going against your old mentor,
Mate.
That was the Clarkson effect.
You can't turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Mate,
That
well
is-
said.
that's profound.
One of the great sayings.
I've never heard that saying. Did you make that up?
You just said.
Yeah, no, I felt like that.
You're right.
Yeah, what is it again?
You can't turn chicken shit into chicken salad. And
That's good.
Wise, man.
what about, so Port Adelaide, Brisbane, that's going to be a cracker.
Is that a bit like this podcast?
We can add some Thousand Island dressing and everything. It'll taste a bit nicer.
It's still not chicken salad. That chicken shit.
That West Coast game is exclusively on KO.
Bang.
Our wonderful sponsor.
Yes.
We love them.
4K
Yes, absolutely.
deliciousness. All right,
I'm
now,
rooting for it. I think North wins that game. I'm going to ring Clark and tell him you said that.
Broads, should we talk about something, brother? Regarding your life and your friends?
There is something that's a big problem, and all of you are complicit.
What
and
happened?
I am, in fact, getting married.
Yeah.
I've proposed
Yep.
to one of the loves of my life.
One of the loves.
Yeah, I just wanted to have that caveat there.
He's got a harem.
And
Concubine.
Welcome to the podcast, Harem and Concubine. Two of the great words delivered back to back.
What up, Conky?
Sorry, keep going.
this is a special moment that you're both ruining, all right?
Sorry, we'll be serious.
Respect him.
Yes, yeah, we're going to respect
And we've
I
been
can't believe someone swiped right for you.
Concubine.
Or is it left?
we've been colleagues for a number of years now.
2.5.
And friends, and we've grown to be close friends. And I thought, you know what? I would like my friends, and more importantly, my colleagues, to be at my wedding.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Let's just go around the room.
When is it?
Well, that is the sticking point. When I booked the wedding in 18 months ago, Gather Round didn't fucking exist.
Are you saying it's on Gather Round?
I've booked my wedding and recovery on Gather Round.
Smack in the middle.
Friday the 14th of April.
Smack in the middle of Gather Round.
Can I say, when you sent the invites out to Dino, Jono and I to come to your wedding, if you had to say percentages who you thought would definitely be there and who might choose not to come, where would the numbers land?
Well, I would say that, and Brownie has proclaimed it like I am.
You're a sweet kid.
I'm an adopted son. He says, you're like my adopted
so
son.
you're looking at, what, 90%
Yeah, I'm
for
thinking
JB?
95, but I think he's going to roll up with, 20 slabs in a limo, so I'll pick you up. The
Okay.
whole thing, right? The whole thing. And Dino, we've worked together. We're confidants.
I love you.
And I thought, you know what? Dino's can be a little bit aloof at times, but I thought a good 85. A solid 85.
Aloof.
I love.
And you know what? The VFL plays on a Friday night, so I thought there's no way Kimball's going to be in the VFL.
You threw mine in just because you had to. You'd be thinking 10, 15%.
Yeah.
Right now, as we sit here, right, who's the only coming to your wedding?
It's Campbell.
I'm there, mate. I'm there.
Really?
Yeah, I booked accommodation out in the Yarra Valley. Where are you two blokes?
Where are you, Dino?
I'm in Adelaide, man.
Oh, yeah, mate, we've got Gather Round. Hey, mate, we're flying the flag for KO.
Brother, I can't fly back and then fly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
It's
thought
my wedding!
I thought we were doing a Brownies podcast special
So
in
did I.
Adelaide.
You should be coming to Adelaide.
I can get there Saturday. Yeah, I'm just choosing to go to the wedding on Friday of our great producer.
I can't believe this. You
Mate.
make us look like assholes.
Loyal.
And he's going to be... I'm not going to be out of control. Imagine him at my wedding, and there's going to be a lot of...
Mate,
You're not going to have us to protect
No,
everyone from
he is
Dom.
going to be...
how can I go to Steve Crawley, the boss of Fox Sports,
Yeah.
and justify going to some Nipsey's wedding instead of Friday night at Gather Round live on the panel with
Sorry, what
Bucks?
was that? Some Nipsey? What is a Nipsey?
A nerd and a gypsy.
That's right. You know, like instead of being with Gaz and Bucks and Louis on the set out the front of the Adelaide Oval, how can I justify going out to Yarra Valley to be at some Nipsey's wedding that I've known for 2 minutes?
I put
2 minutes. Take that
2
back.
minutes, you take that back.
Take that
I've
back,
made
you
your
son of a
life
bitch.
so easy for years.
I put the rest of my
How?
life on hold, mate. I've got out of things. I've juggled my calendar, and I am there, mate. I love a wedding. I'm going to be smashing plates, even though you're not Greek.
Mate, but we need you in Adelaide for the podcast.
Yeah, I'll
you
get there
doing?
Saturday. I'll get there Saturday.
You really get there Saturday.
Mate, 100.
Because we're going to do a special
Yeah,
over there.
yeah,
the Brownies podcast special. Will you be able to come over, Brody, on
honeymoon.
Saturday?
Yeah. The day after his wedding.
Yeah, I'm sure the wife's going to be over the moon with
You
that.
can bring the bride.
Oh, yeah, she's like, oh, you sit down here. It's all right. You know, this is the honeymoon. Where are we going? Adelaide. Gather round to do an episode of Brownie's podcast.
Send Annika over there, mate.
Bro, I'm sorry, dog. You're a good friend.
I am a very good friend. Now, we've got to straighten up for a second here because there's a couple of questions I've got to ask JB about. During the week, there's this big class action
Is this on the run sheet?
against
No,
I've
he's gone off
pulled
the
this.
grid.
I've gone off Rogue. There's a big class action against the AFL. It's been bubbling away behind the scenes for quite a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of legality around it, but it's come to the fore in a public space now that Max Rook is the face of this class action of injured, concussed players dating back to the 80s through the 90s, players that have got head injuries and head trauma through football, and they're suing the AFL for an undisclosed amount, but it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Jesus.
Now, we've got a man sitting right here who's one of the toughest players that played the game, who we saw with our own eyes suffer some very, very visual, graphic head knocks. And I've read articles during the week where your name is quoted, not in the class action, but around the discussions around it. I just need to ask you, are you involved in any of the class action?
Categorically, no. I'm glad you've asked me that to justify, but I am not involved in any class action.
Have you been approached?
No, I haven't been approached. And my answer would be no.
Why?
Well, I just... and I'm not judging anyone else.
No.
But I'm just talking about myself. So don't take this as I'm have an opinion on everyone else. This is me. No, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't have any issues at the moment. I don't have any issues I think of, apart from...
Except you call me Kylie, okay?
every now and again, and, when I get home, a long way past midnight, I forget that what time I should have got home. Yeah. But in all seriousness... I don't have any issues, some post-concussive issues. I don't think that I do, anyway. And also, I've got a great love for the game that I knew the dangers of the game.
It's tough to comment on, right?
It is tough to comment on, but I guess growing up, my uncles played AFL football, my dad played AFL football. I just wanted to be like my uncles and dad.
And you did?
And went out and played football. And it's a contact sport. And there's risks associated with it, with all parts of your body.
If you were to, say, 30 or 40 years down the track, and touch wood, it doesn't happen, to suffer from a cognitive disease or cognitive, deterioration, would you still have the same opinion, because it's all well and good to say, and I'm okay now, but then imagine when it's affecting your family and would you be happy to say, oh, yeah, no worries that I took that risk?
Well, I think so. And, it's hard to, and you're not sure as to, if you crook down the track, whether it was from football or, whether you had, whether it be drugs or alcohol or family, hereditary things, traumatic events in your life, lifestyle, whatever those contributing factors. So I don't think so. I think that'd be unlikely for me. It's a really difficult one.
The thing for me is, and everyone's got dealing with their own issues that are in this class action, whether we're learning more through concussion. We know way more now than we did, 2000s. Jordan Lewis came back on the field after that hit from Jared Harbrow, which is the biggest hit I've ever seen. That's only going back to 2009. Now, you'd never get away with that. Certainly through the 90s, players would go back on the ground. You can't really...
I did in the 2003 grand final.
Yeah.
I was knocked out and played every minute of the game.
But is that negligence of the medical fraternity that might not have been as aware like the rest of society the damage is done?
Yeah.
I just find it... like if I had an injury, I would never go back and blame the footy club or the league, because you do know the risk. It's like if you're a mountaineer and you want to climb Mount Everest, there's a chance that you might die on the mountain.
Are you judging people that do?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. I just think
that's why it's a hard one to talk about, because people take it as I'm judging the other person. I'm
Which you're
judging
not.
Max Rook or someone else in the lawsuit, but I'm not doing that.
No.
All you're saying is we didn't know these things. You didn't really know the effects years ago. So when you stay out in the field, in the grand final, or Louis comes back on the field, we didn't really know those risks. And I think the AFL's done a pretty good job at making the game as safe as you possibly can in a contact sport, and still holding, I suppose, is it the substance of the sport or the actual not getting away from what the sport is? And that is, it's a gladiatorial contact sport where you have to go bodies on bodies. And you're sort of at the point now where, like a race car driver, they've looked after the race cars as best they possibly can, but to go any further, what's the next step? Tell the race cars to slow down. We don't want to play a non-contact sport, so you sort of think, how far can we go? We know this is the core of our sport.
How does this end?
I don't know, because you can't blame every concussion, every head knock you get through negligence, or blame the opposition or the doctors that served you. Every doctor I've ever known in football have hearts of absolute gold and would go above and beyond. They'd come around to your house at 8 o'clock at night to help your pregnant girlfriend or whatever. They would never deliberately, consciously put you in harm's way, put you back on the footy field, if they knew there was a risk. And that's just come through education down the track. And some players now are really bitter at their former clubs, trying to sue them personally, doctors and all that. There's no right or wrong answer. It's a very awkward line.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one, because I'm in the situation where Liam Picken, my cousin, who I'm great mates with, one of the hardest players that's ever played a game, could have won a Norm Smith medal in the 2016 famous premiership against the Western Bulldogs. He is suing the AFL and the club doctors at the Bulldogs that were his club doctors during the grand final and during his career there. So it's a difficult one for me.
And they'd be devastated by that.
They would be when I'm talking about that.
He's one of the doggies' favourite sons.
One of the
and now
favourite
there's
sons.
a lawsuit against the club that he won a premiership at.
But Dog, I don't think that's bitterness. I think the quality of life.
I get that.
Life is suffering.
That's right.
I completely get all that. It's just it's where does it? You play the sport you love that's given you everything. It's how you've paid for your family. You've bought your house. You've had jobs. Everything you basically get through footy is because of that. Then to turn and say, hang on a second, you all know risks. If you go out there and you can break your leg, you can do your shoulder. There needs to be some personal responsibility as well. But in saying that, some players are leading terrible lives now because of the impact they've had through footy.
In a yes or no answer, Campbell, Brownie, you both have children, and Campbell, your kids might decide to play and live. Brownie, your daughter looks like she would love to play. Would you allow and recommend your kids to play football, knowing that?
I've got no issue with them playing.
Yes, absolutely, I would. And if I was confronted with the same facts that we know now, and there's still a lot of grey areas around it, I know, but if I was confronted with the same risks when I started my football career, I wouldn't change a thing.
Helmet?
I'd still No, I would still go out there.
Why not a helmet?
And then play. Well, they're not sure about it.
Yeah, they're not actually sure they won't.
Really?
It's like fucking masks during the pandemic.
Don't
do nothing.
Don't bring in the pandemic.
Hey, look at the damage.
Conspiracy motherfucker.
Look at the damage the NFL masks have done.
Yeah.
They've led, they use them as weapons. The NFL helmets. So I wouldn't change that. The game has provided my family with great security. I've had great memories. I've created great relationships over my career. So no, if I was offered those risks leading into a football career, yes or no, I'd absolutely do the same thing again.
One
great chat.
sleep
Well done, guys.
until the footy. Ads back in a second.
This is Brownie's Podcast.
Welcome back to Brownie's Podcast. Campbell Brown is supposed to be pelting me with cinnamon in public, and we're going to address that very, very soon. But
Are
the
we
Oscars,
talking about that on this
yes,
podcast?
we are.
Good.
The Oscars were on. Anyone watch them? Yes or no?
No.
Yeah, I tuned in. Just I like to get a bit of a read of these bunch of pretentious, self-righteous Harvey Weinstein protecting scumbags that don't live in the real world, yet they stand up there and preach about everything on global issues, but they have no intention to ever live by those baseless and shallow words that they bang on about.
Brother, that's a good move.
That's a wonderful monologue.
How'd you go at English at school?
Yeah, I was very sharp.
Dog, that's a very good point. All these sanctimonious people that get up there and rant, are they angels?
No, they're hypocrites because they catch the private planes to these events, yet they preach about global warming
Couldn't
and all
agree
sorts
more.
of shit.
Couldn't agree.
Jimmy
Hey,
Kimmel
any
was
punches?
Yeah.
Is there any punches?
Not one slap. Jimmy Kimmel ripped piss out of that. He was a very, very good host. He brought out a
love
donkey at
Kimmel.
one point. I love Kimmel too. I'm a Kimmel man.
What about Cocaine Bear?
Cocaine Bear was off the hook. He came out. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once won, which if you haven't guys seen.
Shane Mumford. Sorry.
Yeah, Mummy walked out dressed in a bear
And they all
suit.
yelled out sausage, sausage, sausage.
Anyway, let's do.
Here we go. Brownie's
Brownie's-
Podcast Oscars. Best Picture. Well, this is a hard one, so I'm thinking Best Picture. This is actually an artsy thing.
Yeah.
The caricature from Paul Harvey from Brownie's Podcast
Brilliant.
last year. Dog, can you describe it for us?
Please.
Well, we're all nude. I've got a little dog barking on the end of my penis. Yours was hitting the floor like an anaconda. Yours was a joint.
It was a joint, a smoking joint. It was an active smoking joint.
And Brodie's was a little mushroom.
do you
But
feel,
the
Brody?
caricature
Sums
was
you up
brilliant.
well.
Surprisingly accurate.
Yeah, great one. That's really good.
Congratulations for Best
That was
Picture.
a super
Go
caricature.
to Paul Harvey if you want a good caricature at Centre. Best Actor. I think Duck's cameo at the front of the crowd.
At Crown Casino, Perth. Yeah, good call.
Anyone that sticks to anti-inflammatories deserves an Oscar.
Huge.
Sensational. Best Actress. Dog, I struggle with this one.
Yeah, well, the main one that springs to my mind is Carmela Harris as the Vice President. Gee, she's a good actress. I
Congrats.
just talk shit.
Congrats.
Best Original Song.
Okay.
I can't go past. Last year, we had a big request for Brown Dog to get up, and you were going to play the trumpet when we had our big fan get together at the pub that day, the precinct, Hawthorn v Brisbane, and you were going to play the trumpet of the winning team. Hawthorn did that win that day. However, you weren't there. You weren't at the pub, so Dino had to step up to the plate. A man that's never laid hands on a trumpet before, but I tell you what, he was magnificent.
If you get attacked, you go on the offensive.
Mate,
I learned that from you. Dog.
Louis Armstrong would have been turning in his grave, Brodie.
Absolutely.
What
With Eddie
else?
Maguire. Best international feature film. I think that was our hangover trip to the Super Bowl last year.
the Mondrian Paul,
Mate, I could not get rid of this man for 3 days.
the lilac.
The lilac polo he wore for 3 days straight. He slept in my bed. He spooned me.
That's nice.
I tell you, I had a couple of bus fats along the way.
Couple of bus fats.
Mate, that was sensational.
If you
What
can't have a
trip.
bus fat with a friend, then what are we doing here?
Best supporting actor. Nathan Buckley, when he stood in as co-host. Brown Dog, again, was away last year for one of the episodes. Mate, I tell you, Bucks was magnificent, wasn't
Mate, Bucks was.
he? Magnificent.
And also it coined the phrase, where's Bucks? Because every time you said something stupid after that, we would always ask.
I'm a
"Where's
well-travelled
Bucks?"
man, and you said if I don't start pulling my weight, I might be permanently replaced. Well, Bucks, I'm still here.
Are you taunting Bucks?
I'm still here. No.
Anything else you want to say to him? You want to really go? Or you're right?
That's all.
Because he has a phone and he can watch this shit.
This is a shout out to one of our most loyal WhatsApp participants. Best attempted supporting actress, Shari. But Shari decided to turn up to be in the best on-ground audience last year.
Too pissed.
They decided to go to the pub beforehand and was denied entry by the security guard at Fox Sports.
Do you know how pissed you have to be denied entry to Fox Sports, Junior?
Especially to best on ground, particularly. I'm proud of that. One of our WhatsApp membership.
Shari, I love you, Shari. We all love you. Best director. Chicken Nixon's performance last year, getting our boy Brodie Pomeroy through his management course.
Somehow.
If people are new to this podcast, please know that Brodie, our producer, did an online course with Chicken Nixon about how to be a sports agent.
Toot toot.
He then presented you with a diploma at the pub and kissed you on the lips.
Yeah, it was certainly a life highlight. I spent 8 weeks learning from Chicken. I think I learned a lot. I think you learn a lot when you spend 8 weeks.
Also, you had 8 weeks on antibiotics after the kiss.
For your cold sauce.
That's forever, by the way, that one.
Yes, absolutely. Next category, best animated feature. Well, we can't go any further past our little man's... What'd you call it? A side hustle.
Yeah.
He came up with 6 cartoons last year, which took the TikTok world by storm.
Correct.
And the name was Childish Dino.
If you haven't seen him, hit him up.
Hit him up.
At Childish Dino.
Is it going to be a second series?
Yeah, we got some more money to make some more of that stuff.
That's good.
I didn't invest.
Mate, I might be coming to you for some more money. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Hey, how good was it, though? Childish Dino was awesome.
What about how loyal I am to my podcast fam? I'm going to his wedding. I'm investing in your function.
You are a magnificent man.
And the final category, best sound. And as we all know, one of our favourites on this podcast is Campbell's father, Big Mel Brown, the WA football icon. When last year he had a bit of a flood issue at his property down Portsea Way, and he rang Johnny Barker, former Hawthorn player, Fitzroy player, Carlton coach. He's now working in the insurance line of work. Restrex, and Mel wasn't happy with the service.
John, Mel Brown, hey, these are useless. Nice boy, this bloke that's come today. Aaron, 2 hours early. Been at the doctors. The bedroom's all wet. They haven't pulled the thing out that they should. The carpet's got to come up. They reckon they can't come back till next Wednesday. And I've got all you coming down for the wedding on, well, not you, I don't think, for next week. No, the week after. That'll be 6 days in a row I've had these blowers going. Now I'm going to have to have on till next bloody Wednesday. Can you send some down here to do something? I've had a couple.
Oh my God!
Astonishing.
That's just a normal chat.
Right.
That's just a normal conversation.
He showed a video camera of Johnny Barker when he listened to it the first time.
Mate, he what about how Mel can just go up and down with
flares? He flares. I think I like that more than the car park audio.
Oh,
the garage audio.
Very funny.
That's unbelievable.
Do you know what? He'll kill Johnny Barker for sending us that.
Ads. Back in a second.
This is Brownie's Podcast.
Welcome back to Brownie's Podcast. Dog.
I'm angry with you, mate. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. Last week when I was in Noosa, I put to this podcast that we were going to take you to Kerford Road.
Yeah.
We're going to chain you to a chair.
Yeah.
In great Danish tradition, we were going to pelt you with cinnamon because you're over 25 and not married.
Yeah.
You agreed to it. We rounded up the troops. It was going to be tonight. It's only going to be like 6 hours of time.
Hey, don't go to that location, by the way. It's not happening. Let me fucking tell you.
You pulled out.
Yeah, pulled out.
I did actually listen back to the podcast. I'm not sure Dino actually
Exactly,
agreed
John.
to it. I think we agreed for him, but I can't remember him saying he was agreeing to it.
Well,
Hey.
you could have shut it down there and then.
I'm up for horseplay. But then I was driving home and I thought, why the fuck would I do that? And then people started chiming in. I got this audio.
Have you ever thought of that, Brando?
Never.
I got this audio from Rick on our WhatsApp, part of the WhatsApp team. By the way, do we have a name yet for our fans?
We do. We are going to be called, and I'm very proud to announce, fans of Brownie's Podcast will forever be known as...
The Woodabers?
The Degenerates.
I like it.
Ah, yes.
I like that.
Yeah, very appropriate.
One
not
of our
bad.
degenerates sent me this very heartfelt message out of nowhere.
Yeah, Dino, it's Rick from the podcast group, mate. Listen, do not do this ridiculous, stupid cinnamon thing. Brown Dog's gone off his head. It's bloody Australia, mate. It's not Denmark. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It serves no purpose. It's not funny. It's never been seen before on Australian soil. Listen, the podcast, the group there have a sense of camaraderie and mateship, and there's no mateship in tying your friend up and chucking shit all over him. So don't do it. Absolutely ridiculous idea. Brown dog, go and see a doctor.
Strong words.
Is that Rick who looks like Michael Moore?
Yeah, it is. It's Michael
director.
Moore.
Yeah, it's
I know, by the way, I'm going to go see him at the Eagles North game. He's coming up from
Rick
Geelong
talked
for it.
you out of it.
Rick talked me out of it, but then I thought, you have to be 25. I'm 37. It's a long bow to draw. You have to be the age of 25 to this stupid cinnamon
No,
thing.
just over 25.
Anyway, I was with my man, Pangy.
Yeah, he would have surely
As a
disagree.
general rule, I've always lived my life by whatever Campbell Brown thinks is a good idea. I think is a wonderful idea and you should do it. Because there is a man with no skeletons in his closet, a solid citizen. What do you have to do again?
Sit there while people pelt cinnamon at me. It's public humiliation. It doesn't seem very smart.
Campbell's got that idea from that's got the Dalai Lama written all over it. My advice is whatever Campbell Brown says, in all honesty, do the opposite.
So, now that we've heard those 2 bits of audio, what are you going to do?
I'm not doing the cinnamon thing, but let me tell you this. I'm up for horseplay. It just needs to be relevant.
All right, I'll do the cinnamon thing.
Are you angry with me?
No, I don't get angry. I just get even.
What does that mean?
Threat.
What is your threat?
So
You're not doing the cinnamon thing. The cinnamon thing, we shouldn't do the cinnamon thing.
So you're married though, mate. You don't need to do the cinnamon thing.
We're going to have to find someone
different
from
stuff.
the WhatsApp group that's prepared to do the cinnamon, because I'm not going to let this go.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Okay, so at
If
some
it's
stage,
not you, Dino, it's someone else. There will be cinnamon.
someone's
thrown.
copying the cinnamon. Well, that might give us time to build a sponsor.
And I respect everything that Rick said.
Yeah.
But he's never been seen on Australian soil. That's unique. It's going to be the best.
It's not Kabaddi, bro. All right. If someone in the WhatsApp thread is 25 exactly and single, let us know. We'll give you a prize if you let Campbell pelt cinnamon at you. It's a ridiculous idea. Are we happy?
Happy.
I'm happy.
Deal.
Now it's time for...
What a world!
Yes.
Now I've got 2 What a Worlds here. I just want to give a big shout out to a 100-year-old New Yorker called Ida Keeling. Right, she set a new world record in the 100-meter sprint.
How old is she?
All right, she's 100.
Is she keeling over anytime soon?
Well, she's
Like
looking
that.
fit as a fiddle,
Okay.
right? They have a world record for 80 years and older, and she's 100. Guess how long it took her to run 100 metres?
100 minutes.
A very, very good time. World record time is like 9.7 or 9.8 seconds.
Yeah, Usain Bolt like.
No,
Yeah,
it's
so-
959. Yeah.
959, okay. So let's say a 100-year-old, they're 80 years old. Let's say another maybe 8 seconds on top of that. I'll say 18 seconds.
Sub 20, you reckon?
Sub 20.
Mate, they're
Jesus.
100. They're basically made out of paper mache, like brittle. 1 minute and 17 seconds.
That's not bad.
1 minute and 17 seconds.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
would
effort.
smash her.
Well, of course you would,
how
mate,
old
because
are
you're
you,
28
Brody?
or something.
I would smash her. A minute?
How good. What's her name again?
Ida Keatling.
Ida Keeling. Good on you, Ida.
One of the
Now,
greats.
this is the What a World, because if you were in the province of Liaoning in China last week, you were told to find cover because there was rain, significant amounts
Yes.
of rain coming down. But not just any rain. This rain was full of worms.
Jesus.
Real life worms
It's raining
that
worms.
were raining down on the community of Liaoning, and they don't know why. These slimy creatures, they came from the clouds. They believe the nature's network suggests the animals were being dropped after being swept up in heavy winds, sucked up into the sky, and then coming down as precipitation.
That can happen.
Worm precipitation. It's unusual. It's never really happened before, but if you go online and have a look at them, they were fucking coming down in their millions. Could you imagine? The world's cooked as it is.
Yes.
Walking along, feeling some droplets of rain, and then just getting pelted in worms.
How good's that for your gardens?
Yeah, it'd be good for
Imagine
your
that happened
gardens.
over your garden. It might not be wrapped.
And
Black
the-
gold right there.
And the worms
good point,
were
John.
covered in cinnamon.
Hey, footy's back. We'll be back on Friday. See you soon.
Can't wait. Don't turn up tonight to the pier. There'll be no cinnamon.